What's up guys, I'm Avionics, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button as I do put out quite a few videos throughout the month. In this video, I'm going to be going over the top 5 best virtual DJ tips and tricks for anyone new to the DJ software, such as myself. I spent the other day familiarizing myself with the interface, and being that I've been using Serato DJ for the last 9 years, I've tweaked the VDJ interface and some settings to kind of reflect my Serato workflow. Hopefully this video helps others who have been using Serato and want to try out virtual DJ. Now at first, VDJ can look overwhelming to new users, but take the time to familiarize yourself at your own pace. In my opinion so far, I find that Serato DJ Pro is kind of like iOS and virtual DJ is like Android. In terms of Serato, it makes it easier for you to get up and mixing right away, and virtual DJ lets you get deeper into more customizable settings. I love Serato DJ Pro and I have no complaints about it whatsoever, but I'd like to see what virtual DJ has to offer, and I'm going to show you some tips on how to get started as well. Alright, so once you've downloaded and installed virtual DJ, go ahead and plug in your controller or your mixer, and right away you'll see that there's a lot of controls going on, and like I said, it does look a little bit overwhelming. So tip number 5, we're going to go ahead and strip everything down to basically the easiest looking interface, which is starter. So go up here at the top at layout, click the drop down menu. Right now it's in performance mode. Okay, let's take a look at Pro. So as you can see, it's stripping down some of the settings away. As you go down to Essentials, some more has gone away. And if you go to Starter, now it looks basically like how Serato DJ Pro looks like, with the exception of you see your channel fader on both decks, you have your EQ bands for both decks, and your crossfader. Now, as you move your any kind of fader or control knob, you see that it's actually MIDI mapped and moving for easier visual cues of how everything looks. There's the Q bands, EQ bands. So changing the layout to starter is going to get you up and running quicker and start mixing your music. Okay, so tip number 4 is prevent the hotkey button from auto-playing the deck. Now, as you've noticed, when you start playing and you hit the hotkey button, it automatically starts playing. I personally don't like that, especially with my Rain 1 where it has motorized control platters. So to turn that off and put it back into stutter mode basically. So right now it's set to play. We wanted to change it to stutter. So if you go over to the sprocket wheel settings in the top right corner, go ahead and click on that. Go to the options over here, and let's just to make it easy, let's just search for stutter. And here we have controls and hot cue mode. By default, it's checked to play. Let's go ahead and check it to stutter. And then go ahead and X out. And now when you load a track and you hit the hot cue button, it will no longer autoplay the track. Alright, so tip number 3, how to MIDI map load tracks using shift and arrow keys. If you're already familiar with Serato DJ, you'll know that pressing the shift and either left or right arrow keys will load the selected track to the respective deck. When I look up a track in the search bar, I have a habit of loading that track right then and there at the keyboard using the shift and arrow keys since I'm already in position to do so. In virtual DJ, pressing the shift and arrow keys does nothing, but I'm going to show you how to MIDI map it to do so. So go back into the sprocket wheel settings button. So go ahead and select mapping on the left, and then go ahead and select keyboard custom mapping up here. Now go over to this key field, go ahead and click your mouse in there. Now when you hit shift and the left or right key, you'll see that right shift and then shift plus left, and you'll see there's no action. So we're actually going to just type in here deck 1 load. Okay, and then down here you'll see, if you scroll down, it says shift plus left. The action will be deck 1 load. And then if you go back into key, mouse, click your mouse in there and then hit shift and right arrow key. Now it says shift right, shift plus right. And we are going to type in deck 2 load. So now if you look over here, shift plus left equals deck 1 load, and shift plus right equals deck 2 load. Now go ahead and hit the save button over here, and then go ahead and exit out. So now when we press up or down in our library, and then you press shift left, it now loads to the left side, and then go ahead and load something to the right, and now it loads to the right. And that's how you MIDI map shift and arrow keys to be able to load on your left deck or your right deck. Tip number 2 is how to change the key display from musical scale to Camelot. I went ahead and switched back the key to the default setting of showing the musical key, which is, the G sharp minor in this case. Now that's the default setting. Now if you're used to using the Camelot wheel, in Serato DJ, it shows the Camelot wheel notation. So I'm going to show you here how to switch that key to show Camelot notation. So go back into your settings sprocket menu and make sure you have options selected. And in the search bar, just go ahead and type in harmonic. Here you'll see the key display setting. As I mentioned, musical notation is default. So now we'll go ahead and tick the checkbox for the harmonic. Close out of that, and now we have our keys to show in the Camelot wheel. And my number 1 tip or trick for getting started with Virtual DJ as a beginner is to create a filtered folder for mixing in key. So if you're someone like me who likes to constantly mix all of my tracks from one to the next in key, you'll want to have some kind of better organization to be able to mix and switch to and from different keys. Now I already have this organized for myself in Virtual DJ. Over here to the left, my mix and key folder with all my mixed keys, these are all filtered folders or playlists. When I click on a keyed filter folder, you'll see that every track in the folder is all of the same key. So whenever I add new music or even music videos to the library and have analyzed them all, these filter folders will automatically filter in the tracks set by the rule that we will make for each respective keyed filter folder, and this will help you to stay organized and your mixing workflow will be that much easier. Okay, so to create a new filter folder, you can basically just click in here if you've already selected the filters here in column, or you can press on this button. So I'll just click in here, and we're going to enter a name. So this is the name of the key that you want to filter in. So let's, for example, put in 09A. Hit OK. And then here we can simply just type in key equals 09A. And then as you can see, it already created the folder on the side, and all the 09A tracks have been imported. Now this works all for videos too. It's going to bring all the 09A keyed videos. Go ahead and X that out, and we can create a new one. Either click on filters and then click in here, or just click on this button right here. And now we'll name this 09B. Hit OK. And we're going to type in the filter field here, key equals 09B. And now everything under 09B is in here. X that out, and it's gonna put the folders right here. What I did to make it simpler for me is I added in a plain folder that's red, and then I dragged it into the filters folder, so I can collapse or expand this and then expand this some more, and then all 24 keys are in here from 01A all the way to 12B for easy mixing in between keys. I highly suggest you do the same way. That way it keeps you organized. And that's how you can create keyed filter folders to make mixing to and from tracks easier in Virtual DJ. So I hope these 5 tips and tricks ease you into using Virtual DJ more, as whatever I learn in the future, I will share with you guys. As the video comes to a close, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button, leave any comments or questions down below, and once again, please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell so you can be notified of future videos. See you guys next time.